Good day, I'm Pavel, and you are tuning in to the Elite Shrimps Club Ukraine channel. Welcome to the Shrimp Breeder's Diary. In this first episode, we're going to look at setting up an aquarium using a bottom filter, Undergravel filter. For this build, I'm using a 49-liter cube tank. For lighting, I'm using a SunSun H6 D600C fixture with three 24W T5 bulbs. Physically, this fixture is long enough to cover 2 aquariums with this layout. And as you can see, I specifically increased the standard footprint of the tank compared to the factory analogs. Now let's get straight to the installation. For the bottom filter, I'm using a pre-made German solution. Since I'll be using a substrate with a relatively fine grain size, only 2 to 4 millimeters, I covered the filter plates with mosquito netting. That might have been overkill, but it felt safer to me. For air delivery and water flow, I used a modified uplift tube, the so-called Czech Airlift. Compared to a standard tube that uses a regular air stone at the end, the Czech design increases flow by about 30% in my case. This is important because I won't be using a water pump, just a simple dual-channel air pump. For the substrate, I used the specialized Polish Aquael Shrimp Sand. This is actually my first time working with this specific soil, so I'll be watching closely to see how it performs in practice. Previously, I launched tanks exclusively on ADA soils, but those required a specific startup technology that extended the tank's cycling period by at least 2 weeks. Plus, ADA soils aren't really recommended for use with Undergravel filters. In total, I used 1.5 bags of 4 kilograms of soil for this tank volume. With a bottom filter, it is essential that the substrate layer is at least 10 to 12 centimeters deep. I also installed an internal airlift filter with a massive sponge. I realize it doesn't look entirely aesthetic, but the goal here wasn't to set up a display aquascape. The goal was to launch a practical aquarium where maintenance is minimized, specifically just water changes once every 2 weeks. The large surface area of the sponge is a huge plus for your pets, as they will easily find a massive amount of food there and can constantly graze on it. I also kept plants to a minimum. I'll explain why in a moment. For the water at startup, I used the following ratio: 20 liters of water from established aquariums, 20 liters of pure RO water, and I topped off the rest with remineralized RO water. So, about the plants, why so few? Essentially, it's just 2 pieces of lava rock with moss and fern attached. This is purely practical. Since this aquarium is being set up for Taiwan bees, I need the shrimp to be as visible as possible to simplify culling. Naturally, you shouldn't deprive them of shelter entirely, as molting still happens. Water changes at the first stage are planned for once a week, changing 1/4 of the tank volume. The replacement water will also be mixed, 50% from established tanks and 50% remineralized RO. Later on, I will smoothly transition to bi-weekly changes using only remineralized RO, but we'll talk about that in detail in future episodes. To supply air to the airlift and the UGF, I'm using a Tetra APS 400 dual-channel compressor. Again, I just had it on hand, so I decided to use it, rather than the 300 model, which would have also been sufficient for this volume. I also decided to use an oxidator in this tank. On one hand, oxygen saturation should already be sufficient thanks to 2 air-driven filters. On the other, the effect of the oxidator should be slightly better, since it releases pure oxygen into the water, which theoretically dissolves easier. It sounds good on paper. We'll see how it works in practice. Honestly, I just had 2 of these wonderful devices lying around, so I decided to test them in a tank setting. After filling the aquarium with water, I turned on the equipment. The flow at maximum settings turned out to be higher than I expected, so the air pump is actually running at half power. The look of the aquarium might not win the approval of aquascapers, but I'll repeat, I was pursuing completely different goals, namely practicality technological efficiency and, consequently, a reduction in operating costs and maintenance time. By the way, notice that the aquarium uses only 2 power outlets, light and air, and the second tank that I'll set up next to it will need only 1. In my opinion, that's pretty good energy savings. Literally an hour after turning on the equipment, I tested the water parameters and they were quite satisfactory. TDS is at 125, pH is within normal range, and nitrites and nitrates are at 0. By the way, everything I bought to set up this shrimp tank can be purchased on our partner's website, Shrimp Farm. Check the video description for my promo code to get a nice additional discount on your order. I measured pH with a quick test. I'll be interested in a more accurate pH reading 72 hours after launch, once the environment stabilizes a bit. I had some genetic material on hand for an experiment, in the form of 5 red crystal shrimp of mixed grades. They were sent off to acclimatize to their new home. I chose young crystals, no older than 1 or 2 months, for a less risky adaptation to the new conditions. I will repeat this again. Do not think about doing this yourself if you don't know what the nitrogen cycle is, or how to bypass it. Or go ahead if you don't pity your pets, or your wallet. In that case, I call them nothing less than a suicide squad. An uncycled aquarium is like living next to an active volcano. It can blow up at any moment. 2 hours later, life in the aquarium is picking up speed. The crystals have taken on a healthy color, and I don't see anyone preparing to molt yet, although I wouldn't be surprised to find a few cast-off shells in the morning. For now, they are doing the standard exploration of their new home, eating everything in their path. I'm confident that the microlife is also gaining momentum. I hope the bacteria introduced from established tanks are successfully settling in the new location, colonizing the sponge and soil amidst the active water flow. I will cover the progress of this experiment and my methods for bypassing the unwritten rules of shrimp keeping, waiting a month before adding livestock, in detail on our channel. Follow the progress of the experiment. Visit my blog on the website, where you'll find plenty of shrimp videos. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. But for now, thanks for watching, and see you next time.